Hi everybody, this is kind of going to be the ultimate section where we look at basic commands in Fusion 360 with regards to the part modeling. We will also have a few assembly modeling in the next lab, but right now let's get started with a few commands that we have, interesting commands that we have left to do. In this section, we are going to see how we are going to use something called as a mirror command. We're also going to look at how to use the construction feature to draw a plane. And the feature typically remains the same if you want to go ahead and draw an axis with the kind of reference points keeps changing. So suppose I want to draw something like a dumbbell. Uh, the interesting part about this, with a slot in the center, the interesting part about this dumbbell is it's symmetric about this plane. It's so if I could draw this, then in some way I should also be able to create this part. This is exactly where the mirror command comes into use. Let's start a new file and see how we do it. I'm going to take the front view and I'm going to create a sketch in my front view. If you look at the dumbbell carefully, you will notice, especially if you think about it as a section, you will see that it is nothing more than it is nothing more than a section of this sort. So if I revolve this section, then I'm going to get my dumbbell. I'm going to get half of my dumbbell, and alternatively, if I draw it on both the sides, get it on. I'm going to get the whole dumbbell, but I'm going to just draw this section and show you how you can get this section. So let's go back to the drawing. I'm in the front view. I'm going to take line L on my sketch palette. I'm going to draw the first half of the line, uh, the second half perpendicular line, and then another line, slight curvature, straight line, and I'm going to finish it off. Okay, I'm going to just redo these lines again. Now, I can either reduce the length of this to get it to here, or I could use something called as the trim command, which gets by pressing either here or press T on your keyboard. Could cut this off, just or enlarge this. The body is formed, just like trimming off the excess portions. Some constraints were removed. I haven't really given any constraints as of now, but I'm going to go ahead and give a few constraints right now. And one of them is going to be, I'm going to keep this section parallel, which by drawing it already is. So sketch is over constraint. I'm going to remove that constraint onto it. If you see over here, these show your constraints already. So it already shows that these two lines are parallel and this line are perpendicular by this T symbol. Anyway, I finished the sketch. I click the revolve command. We already know how the revolving action is done. So I revolve. Okay. Now I have one end of my dumbbell ready. Now, if I have to use the mirror command, much like the name suggests, I'm going to have this mirrored about this line. Now, because it is a 3D object, a 3D object gets mirrored about a plane and not a line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to need a plane right over here. Go to the construct feature, click on offset plane. Right now, I don't need any offset because I want the object to be joined about the plane. So I'm not going to give any offset. I'm going to keep it 0. As you go on increasing the distance, the plane keeps moving towards the right or the left, depending on where you want the plane to be. Now, go either you can click on S and go to the mirror command, or you can go to create and take the mirror command. Type, you can leave either of them, but for me right now the easiest way to select everything is bodies. Take bodies, click on it. Your mirror plane is going to be this. Join, if it's in now I'll be telling you the difference between join and new body when we create the slot. So now keep it as join, and there is your dumbbell. You can see that because I did not really measure it out, I had better luck with this dumbbell, which looked more which looks more symmetrical, and the proportions of the weights are much better than in this one. However, let's go ahead and create a slot on this. Now, I want to create a slot on a circular plane. So sketching on that plane means I'm going to need a flat surface. This being a curved handle, I'm not going to be able to sketch on it. So let's take the construct again. This time I need a plane that is tangential to to the rod, and you have something called as a tangent plane right away over here. Select the face, give it whatever angle do you want to rotate. You could have it tangential at it could be tangential at 0 degrees, it could be tangential at oblique angle of say 40-50 degrees. Right now it doesn't matter to me, I'm just creating a slot. Okay, create a sketch. A slot, instead of just creating a rounded rectangle, you could create a slot directly by going to the slot command and choosing which of the slots work best for you. I'm just going to take a simple center to center slot and draw a slot. Okay, finish the sketch. And now I'm going to extrude this. When you can go extrude and do the cut feature, it will, and give it like -10, because +10 would mean in the top direction you would get an error if you make it +10, for example. It's going to say there's no target body found to cut, but in -10 in the downward direction, there is a target body that it can find. So it does that. Okay. Now, the interesting part about this would be if you go to the bodies in the left, you have just one body as of now. But if you go back to this feature, edit feature, but you create something, say you join it, 10 mm, say 20 mm, so you can see it, and I create a new body instead. At this point of time, you will have two bodies over here. These two bodies can behave independently. This feature comes in very handy when you want to join or mate multiple features. So if you had just given the join command instead, this whole thing would have been a single body. Alternatively, you can use something called as a combine command, where you click on both the target and the tool bodies, use a join command and join them. And if they were intersecting bodies, you could also intersect them, and the intersection of these two paths would be remaining. Because there is no intersection between these two objects right now, you wouldn't be able to apply the intersection. So this was all about creating a slot, combine, and plane feature. Let's look at another interesting feature in Fusion 360 called as a loft command. Now, before I show the loft command, I just remembered we haven't seen something called as a timeline. So Fusion 360 has this timeline right beneath your screen. So when you click on it, it will show exactly how the drawing was made into picture, came into existence. So all of your drawings will have that feature. For example, I drew this, mirrored it, I took a plane, I cut it through it. So I'm going to teach you what exactly is a loft command. Suppose I have a body which has different features, different shape or different form in parallel planes. Keep in mind that this feature works best only in parallel planes. So I'm going to create a sketch, say on the top plane. I create, say, a circle. Okay, finish the sketch. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to construct an offset plane at, say, a distance of 25 mm, right? Okay, that created a different plane, offset plane, 25 mm from the base. I'm going to take that plane and I'm going to sketch on it. And I am going to create, keeping in mind the vase that we drew, maybe I'm going to try to make a vase, finish the sketch. And I'm going to go again, offset plane, maybe take an offset from here of another 20 mm, 25 mm again, 25 mm, and I'm going to sketch on this plane again and create a tinier circle. Finish sketch. Now you can see how the shape would come if I go ahead and join this. So go ahead, take the Loft command, click on the object, and you will see how the shape will form itself. So what I have over here is a kind of surface with a general increase in its slope and then a drop, more like second half of a top. So if I want to make a top out of this, I'm just going to construct an offset plane, and I'm going to go ahead and mirror plane. I'm going to take this plane. Okay. So I so this is what a Loft command can do. It can create different kinds of bodies. For example, in this one, I drew a circle, then an ellipse, and then another circle, and then I put the Loft command. So I got a shape like a paperweight of this size. This was about Loft and mirror and planes, the more geometric aspects of Fusion 360. From the next video onwards, you'll start doing your tasks. So good luck. Bye bye.